Hi everyone, and welcome to Plus 2020, our Profound Logic User Seminar. I'm excited about this event. My name is Alex Roytman. I'm the CEO here at Profound Logic. I want to say that I feel like it's unfortunate that we can't hold this event in person and see all of you face to face. I would have loved to see all of you. But we still felt that it was important to hold this event as a virtual event because that interaction between Profound Logic and our customers is crucial. I feel like it's important both for you to hear firsthand what we've been working on in 2020, but by the same token, I think it's also great for us to hear your feedback and to keep gaining a better understanding of what your needs are. So welcome once again, and I'm gonna kick things off by having you think about and answer the following question in your head. What does profound mean to you? What is the first thing that comes to mind? When we work with customers, we see different perceptions here. So for some, we are the folks that put a pretty interface on top of green screens. And then for others, we are the technology provider for new development. Maybe that's through some of our tooling, sometimes that's through some of our services. Maybe you think of us as the Node.js guys, the guys that help you bring Node.js-based solutions to the IBMI platform. And then for some of you, we are your mobile app provider that connects your users back to your systems of record. We have some of our customers that use our technology and our services to transform their entire code base and therefore also transform their entire business through a digital transformation effort. And quite often that leads to also saving their system or saving their legacy applications. This also can allow you to take advantage of cloud technologies or implementing hybrid cloud. And for others, we may be the company that connects your IBMI applications to the rest of the world and maybe to other applications within your organization through the use of API. So these are all things that Profound can actually do for you. But if you're just kind of putting us into just one of these categories, for example, you hold the belief that Profound is only a set of tools to web enable my green screens. Well, then you're likely not taking advantage of everything that we can offer because we do offer great solutions in all of these areas. So you want to ask yourself questions like, in my organization, what are we doing for mobile? What are we doing for cloud? How are we taking advantage of open source? How are we addressing the fact that our applications and sometimes the resources and skills that maintain those applications are aging and that the world of IT is changing very quickly? What are we doing for digital transformation, which these days can be considered not just an option for companies, but also a requirement for survival? And I want you to keep in mind that Profound is positioned to be your close partner in answering all of these questions. All right, so with that being said, I thought it would be worthwhile to share with you what Profound Logic's mission, vision, and core values are. So Profound's mission is to help businesses better leverage technology to grow and compete. And we do this by simplifying the process of application development, deployment, transformation, and maintenance. Our vision is a world where organizations get exponentially more value from IT because the amount of time, money, and energy required to develop business applications has been greatly reduced and simplified. Our core values are simplification, innovation, and accountability. And the way that we practice the value of simplification is by simplifying the process of application development and transformation, both for you, our customers, and also internally. Innovation, the way that we practice this, as many of you may already know and observe, we are a company that is never satisfied. We don't just sit and rest on our laurels. We enjoy the process of constantly improving, of challenging ourselves, of pushing that envelope and creating the best software and the best solutions for business application development. The way that we practice accountability is our customers can hold us accountable for the promises that we make and the quality of software we develop and also the projects that we deliver. All right, so with that being said, I am proud to announce that we've made a ton of advancements this year when it comes to our solutions. And I'll start by sharing the improvements that we've made to our existing product. So some of these have been steady improvements, and of course things like bug fixes to our existing products. And we've always been very diligent in listening to our customers. We listen to your feedback, we listen to the ideas that you provide, the issues that you report, and that number of enhancements, as well as the number of fixes we've put into our existing products, is in the hundreds. So that's very consistent with what we've been doing year after year. And in our next session by Scott Clement, he's going to give you a glimpse into a few of those enhancements. And I think that's actually kind of one of the key differences between Profound Logic and so many other vendors in the IBMI industry. It sounds like such a basic thing, but unfortunately it's not always so common in our industry to keep enhancing products on an ongoing regular basis. Now in some cases we've actually completely overhauled our solutions to offer some very new exciting capabilities that we think are going to be game changers for our customers. And we're also announcing new products today as well. So let's get into those details. As far as existing products, again, hundreds of features added, the new API, new functions, bug fixes. But let me highlight just a few of the interesting ones in each one of the products. And again, you'll see a live demo for some of these in our next session. So Genie and Atrium, first we've completely redesigned the macro interface. So it's much easier now to add and especially to maintain Genie macros in Atrium. We also now have the ability to import and export Genie skins. So this is something that's going to make it easy to move those skins between environments. We've also put a lot of work to make sure that our widgets are all customizable by CSS. So any styling that was previously either hard-coded or it was controlled by properties, that is now accessible through external rules using cascading style sheets. For Profound UI, one of the coolest new enhancements are the new way that you can implement database-driven grids. So this is now something that provides a ton of flexibility, including the ability to add other widgets into the database-driven grids, as well as using load all, or loading all of the records into a grid in one shot. We also added join capabilities for all of our database-driven components. So this is a slick new drag and drop interface for connecting multiple database tables. Our visual designer now features zooming capabilities. So there's a lot of work that was put into this. This is extremely useful if you're designing long forms or very busy screens. And we've also improved our installer to support features such as IASPs, config files, and more. All right, moving on to Profound.js. So first off, multiple database capabilities. So we know that so many of our customers have data in multiple systems. And the Profound.js environment can now easily be configured to bring in data from those various sources and have it all be part of one application. While that's something that you've always had the ability to do, just using kind of like Node.js and some of the various NPM packages that are available, all of this is now inherent to the environment, allowing you to use any of the IDE features or any of the backend API with multiple databases. Parallel query processing. So this new capability allows you to run multiple requests for data in parallel, and therefore this is going to make your application more performant and more responsive. Config validation. So in Profound.js, there are so many configuration options. But if you make a small typo or a mistake in your configuration, which is quite common actually, you end up with unpredictable results and they're always hard to track down. Well, now the configuration is validated and it has to pass the validation rules before your Profound.js application even starts. Another new powerful feature is the ability to completely unlink mobile design from desktop design. So oftentimes we want our mobile experience to be radically different from the desktop experience, but we still want everything to be powered by the same code base. So this particular feature, it allows you to actually do just that without having to write any additional code, without having to create separate versions of your display files. You can have a separate version of mobile and desktop. And lastly, we now have a full visual interface for Git source control, including the ability to view and drill down into the Git into your Git history, so you can easily see who has made changes to the code all through that interface. So beyond all of these wonderful improvements, they're wonderful, but yet they're still incremental. We've also completely reimagined Profound.js, making it the most productive application development tool you can possibly use. And I think that holds true whether you're an RPG developer, whether you're an open source developer, or even if you're someone who hasn't touched code in a number of years. So we thought it was important to rethink this offering and to add capabilities such as low code, because we feel that there's a fundamental shift in the role of IT, and it is due to several factors. So first, our workforce, or our application end users, and their expectations are changing drastically. So many of our users are now millennials, and that number is very quickly growing. So this new millennial workforce expects everything to be done digitally with much more simplified cloud-connected user experiences for web and for mobile. So your cumbersome screen-scraped green screen applications are no longer going to be satisfactory for those types of users. So of course, with this, there is a surge in digital demand, and businesses now want more and more from IT. So the demand for new applications is skyrocketing overall, and it's predicted to grow at an unprecedented rate. So it's estimated that the demand for new applications in the next 5 years will exceed the number of applications developed in the past 40 years. But unfortunately, there's just not enough developers. There's a shortage of developers across the board, but especially those that have both an understanding of legacy systems and new modern languages and technologies. And of course, the economy has also been hard. It's been hit hard due to COVID-19. I know that so many companies generally aren't even capable of hiring and managing big new teams of developers to address these needs. So they generally need to address these surging demands with the staff that they already have, and that just means that they have to be more efficient and be more productive. And application development in general, it just has to be more accessible, meaning you have to be able to utilize existing staff for more of your task. And if you're adding people to your team, well, you need those folks to become more productive very quickly. So these insights is what led us to embracing the concept of low code and adding it to Profound.js. Now don't worry, we haven't really taken anything away, and we haven't taken away the ability to code or anything like that, but these new low code capabilities have the potential of making you a lot more productive, and that's the case even if you're not an expert open source Node.js developer. All right, so what is low code? Just like the name implies, it is something that provides a platform where you can achieve lots of application functionality just by configuring what you want done rather than coding everything manually. And you're only writing code for the advanced parts of an application. So the benefits is number one, it leads to faster development. You can innovate at a much more rapid pace. It also simplifies application maintenance because you can now maintain most of the application through configuration, all without coding. It's event-driven rather than monolithic, meaning that you're maintaining small, manageable snippets of low code rather than big programs. And with low code, applications are also created in a standardized way based on best practices. It's important to know that our low code implementation is not a 4GL or a code generator. So those types of tools are either limited to certain templates or they produce just bloated code that you have to maintain. So we don't have any of that. With our low code interface, you have no limits as to what you can accomplish, and it's a matter of designing your application UI and then creating the steps for what happens when the user engages with that application. So these steps are configured in a point and click interface, and it's all based on these pre-built building blocks that ask you the relevant questions. So we call these building blocks plugins, and we have lots of them. You can also add your own plugins or even write custom code for any of these steps. So low code is available as of this week, and it's fully functional within Profound.js, it's labeled as a technology preview. And the best way to learn about these capabilities is to attend our upcoming session where we'll dive into the details and show you a live demo. Again, if you're new to Node.js, don't worry, you don't even have to know any Node.js or JavaScript to be extremely productive with all of these new capabilities. We also added a capability called workspaces to Profound.js. So this is a feature we've had for a while in our cloud version of Profound.js, something that we used to call Node Run, but we have now rebranded it as Profound.js Spaces. And as part of that rebranding effort, we brought the capabilities of the cloud and the standalone solution together. And these workspaces are one of the main new capabilities that are now available to you in Profound.js. So workspaces, not only are they great at organizing your efforts and your files into these separate spaces or projects, but they're also providing you these amazing time-saving features like the ability to change routes or initial modules on the fly, all without having to restart your Profound.js server. So this is something that's going to make the implementation, the management, and the deployment of Profound.js less technical and more natural. All right, so now I'd like to move on to a brand new product that we've introduced called Profound API. So API, or web services, have taken off like crazy in recent years. So much so that many of our customers have been using Profound.js and Profound UI features like universal display files, primarily for developing API over IBMI data rather than full applications. So it became obvious to us that we have to offer a solution, a dedicated solution solely for API development and management on IBMI. So that was needed in order to support all the capabilities that our customers were looking to do. API development in general over IBMI data is just skyrocketing, and we're seeing it used in various scenarios. So here are some of those scenarios. Web and mobile integration. So we have some customers that use the tools that we provide, like Profound Mobile, to create web and mobile interfaces for both the front end and the back end. So those are especially great for internal applications that are used by your company employees. But so many companies also have a separate group for mobile development or for web development. And it's very typical for these teams to create these specialized apps or customer-facing applications, for example. But they still need access to get to the IBMI data and to update data on IBMI. And the standard for doing that has become web services or APIs. So that's how they want the data. And now it's very easy for any developer to quickly create and easily manage those API. So whether you're an RPG developer or someone who's brand new to IBMI, you will now be able to do this with this set of tools. Another use case is third-party integration. So being able to integrate with other non-IBMI applications. So a great example might be to provide data to your CRM like Salesforce or HubSpot. So in fact, at Profound Logic, we use the HubSpot CRM while our billing data is actually on IBMI. And with API or with web services, we've been able to integrate and show billing data directly in our CRM system. Finally, there's the use case of replacing EDI. So if you're still using EDI, got to remember that's a standard from the 1970s. And of course, this is steadily being replaced by RESTful API, which we now allow you to create easier than ever before. So the Profound API solution is something that's built on top of Profound.js capabilities, and it's powered by Profound.js, but you don't really have to know Profound.js to actually create the API. So, and you will see all of this. So in a follow-up session, we'll have a full-blown live demo of how this works. But let's just quickly go over some of these capabilities that are built into the tool. So first of all, you have the ability to define an API that can access your IBMI data or call your IBMI programs. All of that can actually be done without writing code. Of course, in those advanced instances, you can write code if that's needed. But primarily, this is all done in a point-and-click manner. So you can define things like your routes, your input parameters, your output parameters, and so forth, and also the logic. Secondly, this is another great capability, is that you don't have to start from scratch when building an API. There's a capability to generate standard API based on your database just with one click of the mouse. There's also a facility to test your API that's built right into the IDE. It can authenticate you, it can prompt you for any necessary input, and then it just executes your API and you see the results. The environment can also measure and track performance for any individual API for you. And for every API that you create, a Swagger document is generated and associated with the API automatically. So then you can take that and you can publish a fully searchable, externally accessible API store that allows you or your customers to explore and find the API they need. There's also a visual dashboard that monitors all API activity with the ability to drill down to each individual request and see data, see performance, and see any errors that you may have. Finally, there's a built-in way to configure authentication for your API through a simple to use interface. So these are all very, very powerful new features. And if you're wondering, well, why can't I just create API just by using traditional Profound.js or universal display file features? Well, technically you can, but not only can you create API much easier and much quicker with this set of tools, but you also get the appropriate API management, the API monitoring, the testing, the Swagger documentation, and you don't really get any of this stuff automatically with traditional manual programming. Again, for more details, please attend the session being given by Brian May later today, where he'll show off some of these capabilities live. So with so much exciting talk about our product enhancements, I don't want to overlook the fact that Profound Logic services capabilities and offerings have been growing and improving tremendously as well. So first, let me talk about our transformation services. This is our capability to take legacy RPG systems and convert them to open source Node.js and potentially take these applications to the cloud. So for this to happen successfully, you need a high level of automation. And we have been improving this service and adding lots of new automation capabilities to it. So some examples of this is we can now transform DB2 data pretty much automatically. We have the ability to convert CL programs, and we even have the ability to handle certain odd cases very intelligently, like automating the elimination of go-to statements in your programs. So just think about that. Next, application and API development. So as always, we have developers, highly skilled developers, to get you going on any development project for web, for mobile, or for integration with API. And we also are available for staff augmentation projects as well. So our services staff is very experienced in both the application development, in business processes, as well as in utilizing all of our products. So we can make a great addition to your team and make sure that your initiatives are successful. Again, we'll have some more details for you in a later session about that. All right, well, thank you so much, everybody. I am super excited to kick off Virtual Plus 2020. This concludes my presentation, but please be sure to tune in for these other upcoming sessions. There are lots of exciting things to learn, and I'm looking forward to everyone participating and engaging with us. Thank you.